Up front, Nathan Carlos, who captains the side, Drew and Vella. And on the bench, Scott Donald, relegated, Sullivan, Marsh and Jason Carlos, coached by Brian Smith.
And the Newcastle side, Mark Hughes fullback, Albert McDougall on the wings, Gidley back to the centres with Tahu, Rudder 5/8, Medeiros goes from hooker to halfback, Pedon's the lock forward and captain, Simpson, Kennedy the back rowers, Grief and Parsons the props, Donaldson comes in to number 9, interchange of Newton, Perry, Bailey and a newcomer in John Morris, coached by Michael Hagan.
It's a nice night in Sydney as young Joey Mittiger is about to perform a celebrity kick-off. Sean Hampstead referee. Andrew on the sideline, a bit of a dew on the surface.
Yeah, it certainly is a slippery playing surface for tonight. Typical winter's night. Lot of focus on the Knights' attack without Andrew Johns, but first things first, their defence needs to improve markedly on last week against the Bulldogs to compete here.
So Sean Hampstead gives this youngster the sound of the whistle, the kick-off, the crowd roars. It's a lovely gesture, and why shouldn't they do this for one of their lifelong supporters? He's 21 this week. Young Joey Mittiger, a sufferer of cerebral palsy. Sean Hampstead, of course, will blow time on officially. Parramatta left to right. This is one of the big ones. This is 1 versus 4. Hughes to the 10-metre line and pulled down. Beautiful crowd. It's a sight for sore eyes. And this will bring out the best in them. Parsons thunders it over the 30-metre line. And Drew is there with Kalis, who was in doubt. Kalis suffering from a bout of the flu, but playing. Grief plays it. Donaldson sweeps it to the right to Medeiros, wearing what is now the famous Newcastle number 7. And here's Violecki from the back. Geez, made some changes, Brian.
That's interesting to see Danny Medeiros take the first kick. I was wondering whether Sean Rudder would take on the major responsibility there. First downtown came from the halfback as Michael Vella takes it 40 out from his own line, centre field.
Drew to dummy half. Opening seconds of one of the season's big ones. Certainly lacking in the absence of Andrew Johns, and to a lesser extent Robbie O'Davis, and I say that respectfully, but Andrew has become, I guess, the game's #1 player. They embarrassed Parramatta in the 4th round of this season. O'Davis, Market and Johns out. Hughes tackle just outside his 20-metre line.
And Ray, of course, that victory in round 4 followed Parramatta knocking over Brisbane the previous week, as they did only 7 days ago.
Gidley will play it on his own 40-metre line. Donaldson for Rudder. And he'll be, I guess, a little bit more comfortable in the 6th jumper, as Gidley will be out in the centres. Particularly Gidley. I think he's a much better player with space out in the centres. Now Medeiros' kick is high. Beautifully taken under pressure over there. I was just looking at the referee and the touch judge concerning the outside Newcastle backs. Violecki is 22 metres out from his own line, and a penalty goes to Parramatta. It's inside the 10 against the Knights, who haven't beaten Parramatta on Eels home turf since 1989.
But they've made a good positive start here. In particular, Big Matt passes a couple of searching runs and Glenn Grief. And now let's see what their defence is capable of.
2 forwards handling before Taylor had an air swing. Taylor plays it back now for Violecki, and they come across for Hindmarsh. And this is Jamie Lyon. Only one of the Hindmarshes to contend with tonight. Ian playing. Nathan still out. Andrew Ryan, one of their origin players. Drew for Kalis. Kalis for Taylor. Taylor for Butner. Butner lofts a pass out towards Luke Burt. I mentioned last weekend he's a Newcastle junior. Taylor. Taylor weaving and swerving, and then a high ball for Ryan for Violecki. Violating inside. Hindmarsh. Fifth tackle 2 metres away for Drew. Long ball, sweeping it out to the corner. They had 2-on-1. They preferred to kick. And Newcastle cleans up in goal.
And Newcastle out wide, refusing to move up. And they moved up too quickly on that occasion. Before that, they were a bit slow. And luckily here, some great cover defence. Mark Hughes was.
I can't understand, Paul, why they didn't run the football.
Yeah, they had some numbers there. Little inside ball. It was try time.
And even the man on the inside doubling around the outside could have almost scored in the corner. Wonderful try-saving tackle by Tamana Tahu, the previous play.
First drop out of the night. Vialecki sending the captain back to them. What a marvellous game he had against the Broncos last Friday. Now Vella. He's lost the ball. Steve Simpson to play it. Now Gidley. Well, Vella took it ahead with great gusto. He never lacks in that department, does he?
If he was trying to offload or just the strength of the tackle, and that's what it was. Donaldson over the top.
Here's Grief. Talking of local juniors, I think you'll find that Glenn is a Parramatta junior. Donaldson with a short ball up for Peden.
Actually started his grade football here, Ray, many years ago now. It was Newcastle. He worked it inside. Parramatta's half. They come to the short side. What a great kick from Danny Badiris. Realised it wasn't the one he was looking for. That wasn't a bad set of 6 for them coming out from their own end.
A lot of pressure on Danny tonight. As he said, he's filling that famous shirt now, and everybody's been saying, well, maybe Badiris can fix it.
Ray, I've got no doubts he can until Andrew Johns does return, because he's very natural with the football in his hands and he's playing with confidence.
Lyon. Butner. Now Vialecki probes away at the centre of the ruck for Drew. To find Solomona. David picking up another run-on jumper tonight. Talking of hookers becoming halfbacks, we watch Badiris tonight, which we will again in just a moment. How this game has changed. Can anybody imagine Ken Carney playing number 7 for St George? Solomona. Or Freddie Jones playing 7 for Manly, fat man. That's something I'd like to see.
Steve Richard get a run either way as Drew goes high. Mark Hughes well positioned, gets some cover, takes it nicely.
In the final wash-up, there wasn't a lot of pressure on him anyway. Yeah, he got a lot of cover. Here's McDougall. Now Kennedy, what a wonderful game he had last weekend. Players that star in a beaten side. And Kennedy was just that last weekend, I thought. Badiris away for Rudder. Rudder on for Simpson. Simpson goes for the pedal. And he's 43 metres out from his own line as they work away on that short side with Badiris putting a kick down the right-hand touchline. That's the Cronin stand side. And they come away from the northern end with Vialecki. 30-metre line. Jason Taylor, I think, has got some problems out there. Oh, yeah. Taylor's got blood streaming from a gash on his forehead. Now he's ordered him out the back. They'll try and do a quick repair. I doubt that that will suffice, though. This is how it happened. He went in there and it was a clash of heads with the other Parramatta player. As you watch the game clearly on television, we are obstructed by fans standing in front of the box from one of the private boxes. That's fine, as long as they're full. Drew puts a kick in for the corner. They're going to do it. They have done it. Burt. Luke Burt scores. Beautiful try. Lovely orchestration. And so simple.
Well, we're just going to have a look at the grounding of the football. I don't think there's too many dramas with that. Wonderful work again from Brad Drew out of dummy half. Scooted the short side. Puts the step on. That attracts two defenders straight into a hole. and then kicks it deliberately for his outside men, led by Luke Burt. And the only concern for the referee as to whether it was a clean take by the winger, that's fine.
Yeah, no dramas whatsoever. It was very poor marker work by the Newcastle side. A couple of players very slow to get up in defence. They weren't marking. Brad Drew spotted that, took full advantage. He's got plenty of speed for a little bloke and scooted around the edge of the ruck, straight up the middle. And good thinking. Absolutely great thinking there by Drew. He knows he's got some speed out wide. He put it in, and there's the green light.
Crowd goes up. They love it. Luke Burt scoring after 8 minutes. Drew, I think he's been the buy of the season. It's not a bad debating point. Look at him.
What a great move there. He threw the dummy, and Ben Donaldson, not much first-grade experience, has got to realise that the most dangerous man on the field is the man with the football in his hands. At marker, you wait to see the pass is thrown before you move. You then put a step on Glenn Grief, slid between Grief and Sean Rudder, and then the deft little kick. Only the one marker there, as Paul pointed out, and that's where your defence starts. You've got to have two markers there working well, and the rest of your defence normally takes care of itself.
See how he pointed the toe there when he kicked the ball? I haven't seen a Parramatta player do that since the great halfbacks of the Eels. Stu Galbraith, Johnny Colk, Peter Sterling.
No, you didn't want to...
Taylor, a bandage Taylor. From touch, 22 out, with a massive crowd behind him in the Cronin stand. Taylor then, it's on its way. He's going to miss it. Took a coat of paint off the right-hand upright. 9 network viewers back that have been to a break, and Villa's picked up and driven. Newcastle meeting fire with fire. Good stuff. This was the tackle. Donaldson and Grief in 8, Donaldson in 9, and then Vella. He said, you can run as hard as you like it, and you're going back on the seat of your pants. And Solomona does a little bit of light stepping. He's a real ballet dancer for a big man. Love watching him play Solomona. Kalis to the right for Taylor. Grubbing kick. Across the top of the dew and over the sideline. 7 metres out from the line.
I think the Parramatta are going to have a fair bit of success in the middle of the ruck, especially with Brad Drew doing what he did to set up that first try. I just think with Glenn Grief and Matt Parsons there, a little bit of lack of mobility maybe, as David Solomona bumps off Matt Gidley, gets going again, the basketball pass over the top after getting rid of Donaldson. And Michael Butner then picked up another 4 or 5 metres in traffic as well.
Shimana Tahu and a penalty. Well, there's a bit of push and shoving. Violecki and Tahu. They exchange.
Don't come in. There's nothing in this. Come on.
Well, he got that one.
Where's Dave Violecki? Come on. Yeah, come on. Just settle in. Settle in. Oh, man, come on.
What started this?
All right.
Presented the tackle, got through the ball at him, started from there.
Okay. You get some report. Yeah, okay. All right.
Well,
Violecki, Billy's going against you.
to me, has done absolutely nothing.
Okay. So you already got the penalty. You've come in front of
pulled the pin out
cut it out, right?
prematurely.
Somebody in Mississippi. We don't want that here.
No, he didn't do anything except throw the first punch. The penalty had already been given.
The referee obviously hasn't acted on what happened after giving the initial penalty, and that's very fortunate for Tamana Tahu, because it is a cardinal sin when you've received a penalty for that to be changed.
There's no chalk mundines there, that's for sure.
Parsons put down 21 away from his own line. The crowd loving it. No use telling lies about it. Grief's in trouble. He's lost the ball. No. Glenn is up. He's okay. It is going to be a scrum 30 metres away from the Newcastle line. They've lost the advantage.
A charge over the top here by Nathan Kalis. He's already tackled. He comes in. Look at his right knee. Just knocks the ball loose. Great field position now for the Eels.
Newton. Violecki. Newton again using the short side. Finding Ryan. 19 out from the line. Wagon. Solomona takes it to the 10-metre line. And he's a player that you've just got to stay with him. You've got to hang on to him until he plays the ball. Kalis for Taylor. Taylor jinks and goes back. He doesn't beat big Matt Parsons. Then Drew answers the call from the captain, Kalis. And Kalis with a bumping run. 8 metres away from the line. They've got trouble here. There's trouble for Knights. Hughes on the run. Supreme confidence. Line drop out, however.
That's why this man is playing State of Origin football. There's nothing too flash about Mark Hughes, but this is very difficult in an incredibly pressured situation. And he made it look easy. Some people saying Parramatta might get carried away a little bit with the form they were in. They might just be off their game a little bit tonight. That is not the case. They look very efficient. And even at this stage, I'm sure they've got the ascendancy after 13 minutes.
Well, the second dropout is a shocker. The bounce has helped them. And Taylor's been hammered by Badiris. And the Knights come up with the ball. Just when Parramatta had an excellent opportunity. Now the penalty goes against Parramatta as well. Crowd doesn't like it. Newcastle loves it. Talking of crowd, there's plenty of Newcastle supporters here as well. He's ruled touch.
This is a dud decision by this touch judge here.
Got to be a tap.
Jason Moody was well out. And when he tapped the ball back, I'm sure it would still land outside the field of play.
Absolutely no doubt, Paul. That's incredible.
What a bad decision.
That's almost rivaling the Wendell Saylor incident up at ANZ many weeks ago. Gidley. Rudder at acting half. Beaten. They're down 4-0. I haven't seen this part of the turf in the entire game. Parsons. Uprights are only 7 metres in front of him. Badiris cuts out Kennedy, goes back to Hughes. Badiris, and then a short ball. Grief. 5th tackle. Donaldson waits. Badiris again. Grubber kick, looking for Viola. He's in! He's over!
Billy Peden.
It is Billy Peden who's claimed to try, and I think he's taken it from under David Violecki's hand.
Oh, I'm sure he has. Sure he has. Billy Peden, where did he find that speed? It's a nice little kick from Badiris. Brought all the Parramatta players up. He ran to the line, but there's still the fullback back there in Violecki.
They are onside as well, so no dramas with that. 2 men on the far post are the guys coming through, and David Violecki, he was hoping this was going over the dead ball line. Billy Peden, yeah, that's a try.
It's a try. I think he's first maybe grounded it on Violecki's boot, but to me he's got some downward pressure on it. Hand, ball and ground. But Violecki was cool. He was consummate. And then Peden, like a thief in the night, has come around on the blind side, and we think he's got it down for a legal touch.
That's a try.
Again.
Well, we haven't seen David Violecki play a lot of fullback for a while now. When he first came into the top grade, that's where he was playing. I'm surprised it's taken so long for this decision to come through, because, again, I think it's clear-cut. I've got no doubt that Billy Peden, who looks to convert the try, has got their first points.
Here it is. It's coming. And it is no try. 20-metre restart. Needless to say, this partisan crowd loving the decision from the video referee, Michael Stone.
So from that, we're assuming that Michael Stone has ruled that Billy Peden has knocked on. Well, that's... No.
Vella. Bill Peden's reaction.
I can't believe that.
No, they got that one wrong, that's for sure.
Vella. Kalis. Drew. Ryan. Taylor. Butner. Hughes covers. Darren Albert now. One of those many players talked about in this massive exodus of about 2 players to rugby union so far.
He's got to do more, Ray, and so is the man playing the football now. We haven't seen Darren Albert or Adam McDougall in the first 17 minutes. Plenty of work by the men in the middle, especially this man, Matt Parsons. The wingers have got to come in and start doing some work to take the pressure off the touch.
Play by Kennedy now. As Medeiros puts a kick deep into Parramatta territory. They'll bring it off their own line. Andrew on the sideline.
I'll just be the dissenting voice on that decision. I think Mick Stone actually got it 100% right. I think Peter knocked the ball onto Violecki's leg before it came into contact with the ground. Either way, Danny Medeiros' kicking game, Peter Sterling mentioned it. I can tell you, school has been in for Danny all week. He's had 2 or 3 extra training sessions with Andrew Johns, and Andrew basically has given him all the secrets of his great kicking game.
Kalis. This is the try scorer for Parramatta, Luke Burt. Now Drew finding Wagon. Albert picks him off right on the halfway line. Then Wagon and Ryan. Taylor. Was Taylor onside? He must have been. Medeiros is tackled now, just inside his own 40-metre line. Grief. Simpson. Gidley. Gidley. Trailed by Donaldson. 20-metre line. Parramatta's into the park. Medeiros. Rudder. Short pass for Peden. 5th tackle now against the Knights. Will they bomb? Medeiros is with it. Grubbing kick. Fielded by Moody. Just a couple of metres away from the northwestern corner. Moody slow to rise. Solomona. Kalis. Vella. Just on that try and Andrew's point, and it's well taken. I just wonder whether in fact he did knock it on and then onto the leg of Violecki, or in fact did Violecki kick it from his hands and then he regathered. And I think you'll find there is just a little bit of difference between those 2 scenarios. McDougall's up the middle. Newcastle to the 30.
And McDougall had Darren Albert flying on the inside. Didn't see him till it was too late.
Kennedy. Donaldson. Medeiros. Rudder. Battered by Gidley over the sideline. It's pretty much all he could do. Although there's a negative wave of the head from Simpson.
Just have a look here. Darren Albert comes from the right-hand side of the field. He looks there, McDougall. He holds it up and passes. Albert is under the sticks.
believe that he wouldn't have passed now that I've watched it on replay. So after a sensational start, the ship is just rocking a little bit from Parramatta's point of view. Played by Hindmarsh, and Ryan loses that traction on the right foot. Plays it on the 30-metre line as Nathan Kalis takes it ahead. He is 36 metres out from his own line. Parramatta leading 4-0. Newcastle, a try disallowed. Hughes. It's a great stadium to watch rugby league at. The crowd is very close to the action. They get very involved. Here's a problem for Hughes. He doesn't show pain or injury openly as a rule, but Mark is in a bit of trouble. Simpson. This is a much better Newcastle side than the one we saw last weekend. Parsons.
Oh, they're playing very well tonight, Ray, in particular the man who just played the ball, Matt Parsons, leading the forward charges by example, getting them 10, 15 metres every time. If they can improve their defence around the ruck, especially the marker area, they're right in this game. They're attacking quite well.
Well, Matt Parsons, sorry, he's just signalled to the bench. I think he signalled that he's tired, that he wants to come off. Hoping that's the case, and that he hasn't picked up an injury. Julian Bailey is already out there for the Knights in number 16.
Drew, Taylor. Jason, he's out on his own. Finds Michael Butner. Butner gets the ball away, and Ryan is there again. What a wonderful forward he is, this fellow, Andrew Ryan. Butner cuts out Solomona. They're going over again. Luke Burt gets number 2. Burt scores. It started with Jason Taylor. It finished with Luke Burt.
Yeah, shocking attempted tackle there by Julian Bailey, who I mentioned has only been on the field a matter of moments. They scrambled pretty well because they picked up the support players in Butner and Andrew Ryan fairly well. That's the number 15, Clint Newton. His first touch was an important tackle. And from the play of the ball, they go to the left-hand side. If we freeze it there, we've got 1, 2, 3 Newcastle defenders, 5 attackers from Parramatta. I've got a bit of doubt on the last pass. This one here, I think it's forward, to be quite honest.
Looks forward for mine from where we sit. Camera angle might be a bit tricky. Let's try and see if we can see his hands, whether he passed it forward or not. Too hard to tell from that. But the Knights, some very slack defence. Julian Bailey's only been round on the field about 10 seconds and came up with a miss.
I got no troubles that pass, boys. Not because I just want to disagree with you.
Oh, it's plain. It's hard to tell. Yeah, it's hard to tell from here.
I think it's too fine a line to really be adamant.
I wouldn't disagree with that at all. Very nice little play there from David Solomona as well. He dummied to catch the football, let it go on the outside, and that made the defence a little bit more concerned as Taylor comes in.
Taylor's kick this time. This time. Take 2. 10-0 as we bring our 9 network back to you. They're back with us to Parramatta in front of a tremendous crowd. I've not seen a crowd at Parramatta Stadium like this in a long, long time. Interchanges, 4 for Newcastle, 1 for Parramatta. Michael Vella on the bench at the moment.
Well, obviously the Parramatta Army have plenty to cheer. Their side on top of the competition ladder. The first time they have been there at this stage of the season, just 1986. 15 years is a long time to wait to see your team situated there. They're doing it in style, undefeated in their last 10. So on statistics, Newcastle have never lost, or have not lost 4 games in a row in the one season since 1994. They're looking at an unwanted record.
Perry is out there. Rudder saw half a gap which included Jason Taylor, and they have a tendency to run towards Taylor whenever they can. This kick is infield, and Burt What a lovely start he's had. A couple of tries, Luke, against the club from whose junior district he came. Jamie Lyon, the boy from Wee War. And on goes PJ Marsh for his first touch of it. His first smell for the night. 2 for Parramatta, 4 for Newcastle. Short side play for Hindmarsh. 8-0, I beg your pardon, 10-0 Parramatta. Jason Kalis. Marsh. It's got good weight on it. Mark Hughes untroubled to get back into the field of play. I guess many of these players from both sides tomorrow will be serving at the McDonald's stores around New South Wales, Parramatta, Newcastle. A happy day tomorrow. You're bound to see one of the rugby league stars serving at those outlets tomorrow as we raise money for Variety and Ronald McDonald House. This club, Parramatta, very, very close to that charity through their chairman. So do something tomorrow to help them. Medeiros puts a kick down. David Violecki on the carry back. And Medeiros, he's so worthwhile. He was the first man down there, putting everybody on side, making the tackle himself. Wagon. Halfway line, just ahead of him. 27.5 gone. 3 for Parramatta, 4 for Newcastle now. 42 metres out from the Newcastle line. This is Jason Kalis. And what do we got? Blood bin. Yeah, we've got blood bin.
On 4, just in, yeah, you played. At the back.
Jason.
Just here, Knights, behind me, Knights, come on behind. Right,
Brother of Nathan. Ryan holds off with one arm, gets it away to Wagon. Wagon on for Taylor. Taylor was pulled down on the 30-metre line. He came to a rather abrupt halt. Now for Buettner. And he kicks back to the right. Question mark on the onside. Here's a try for Ryan. Andrew Ryan has scored. Is he going to go to the video? Yes, he is. Just a question mark on the outside back.
Yeah, that's a good decision by the referee, Hampstead. I think he was going to award it, and then he thought, hang on, I better look at this. A towering kick across the field by Buettner. Are they onside, all of them?
No problem looking at that ball.
It would appear so.
I think Jason Moody is the man to watch. See the man 3 in from the far side? He is definitely onside.
Is that the fellow there, Pete? 3 or 4 in?
The bloke 4 in might be offside.
Yeah, but he doesn't get involved.
No, he's more than 10 metres away.
It's actually the widest man, isn't it, that goes up to complete in Luke Burt, so no problems at all.
It's okay. Although we thought it was okay for Bill Peden, but you've got to have an opinion. And I think Andrew Ryan has scored. This is a magnificent young product, this man, and one of the reasons is he is so athletic. He is always near the ball. Earlier you saw breaks made by the backs, and I called it then. Who do you think's there? Ryan. Here's another opportunity. Who's there? Ryan.
Yeah, he's really blossomed over the last 3 or 4 months as a player. We saw him play a bit of first grade last year and had a good year, as we expect to get the green light, and there it is. But he has really improved out of sight as a player, holding down a number 11 or number 13 jumper these days in the Parramatta team. Played State of Origin the other week, and played exceptionally well in that. Is there a little knock on there? There is. There is.
Yes, there is. You're absolutely right. And
so all the luck's going their way tonight. The Eels, no doubt about it. Newcastle just got to hang in. This is bad luck for Al, but he gets up to it, bounces off his chest, and there was no support behind him for him. Players in front of him, that's all right, but you need someone behind him.
Yeah, he climbed very high, didn't he, Darren Albert, from a standing start. I'm sure Ray mentioned it in the last couple of weeks. This kid, Andrew Ryan, he was actually going home. He was playing for Kellyville in the local Parramatta competition. Wasn't making a mark, was keen to go back to Dubbo. Daniel Anderson, current New Zealand Warriors coach, lower grades at that stage for Parramatta, talked him out of it. Thank goodness for the blue and golds.
Taylor's kick is online. Another converted try for Parramatta. They lead 16-0. We have got half an hour gone. 16-0. Violecki sending Kalis back to the defence. 20-metre line. 63% of time in opposition half for Parramatta. 37% naturally for Newcastle. 130 tackles to 93 required of Newcastle. This is all explaining the scoreline. But looking at that knock-on Daniel Wagon, it should not have been 16-0. Missed tackles 11-3. Now here's McDougall. Peter made the point earlier that these wingers have got to come in and take some more work.
Well, as soon as we saw Adam McDougall do that, he made a bust of 50 metres up the middle, and it should have resulted in a try for Darren Albert as Donaldson picks up some metres. Very important 10 minutes now for Newcastle. They'll almost be out of this game if they concede any points, and could really work their way back into it if they can put something over the line.
Medeiros dummies to the inside runner. Takes the tackle. Perry is the acting half. Rudder, the kicker. Came off Parramatta, went back to Parramatta, off the feet of a Newcastle player. And it's play on for Nathan Kalis. Now, Sullivan. Lovely pass. Neat to Violecki. Talking of David Violecki and talking of Nathan Kalis reminds me that we will televise that match from New Zealand, from Wellington, in fact, on July 13, Australia versus NZ.
I was talking to Gary Freeman before the game, and he was very happy with the win over France. They hadn't blooded any players for 5 years. He did so against the French. There's another high kick.
Oh!
Albert gets back, knocks it back to Gidley.
Darren Albert, just looking at him as the ball goes away for Simpson. And I think Albert was looking at his other teammates saying, there was one bloke there trying to help me, Matthew Gidley. Is there any chance that some of you other guys might try and give me some protection? Maybe I'm misreading his body language, but I don't think so. Kennedy about to come back. Keaton. Dispute over whether he scored or whether he didn't score. Scoreboard says he didn't. Medeiros now with a grubbing kick down for Violecki. Daniel Wagon. Talk about a utility player. Wagon, he's all over the place for Parramatta and for Queensland. 4 for Parramatta, 5 for Newcastle, the interchanges. Vella. It's really become nearly the most important statistic, isn't it? How many have they used? Marsh. Halfway line on 5. Here's Ryan again. He decides to kick. And a show of optimism. He won't give up. He won't give up. And eventually Newcastle forced the ball in goal. Oh, I can't say any more. People will think that it is bias.
Kids like Ryan at his age aren't supposed to have those sort of skills. That's just a testament to the amount of time that Brian Smith, the coach, puts into players like Andrew Ryan with their skill work. Took the punt, little kick, followed up with another one. Luckily, Darren Albert had the pace to get back there and save a try.
Line dropout. Jason Kalis. 22 metres out, centre of the ground. March for Villa. Villa with the fend and then neatly taken around the legs by Morris. Marsh for Kalis and then back for Taylor. Bullet-like pass finding Wagon. Gee, he did well. He was hit very hard by Albert. Sullivan for Eutner inside the 20. That's where they are. Marsh, dummy He's open side, goes blind. Sullivan. 5 metres out. Marsh again. Newton. It's a grubbing kick in, but... Oh! Mark Hughes lost the ball, then cannoned into the uprights.
It's been another happy couple of minutes for Mark Hughes, hasn't it? A mix-up with, I think it was Danny Badiris, but the Andrew Ryan kicked through. They were lucky to survive that. And then Mark Hughes, normally so safe with his hands. Very fortunate to deny Parramatta on that occasion. Another line drop out inside the final 5.
Sideline Andrew.
Yeah, well, just a comment on this Newcastle side. They are out of petrol coming up to half-time. I'm going to tell you, they desperately need Parramatta to come up with an error in this next set of 6 to remain at 16-0.
Jason Kalis. Michael Vella. They've really kept a close eye on Vella. He hasn't been able to make a clean crack in the defence wall. Here's Ryan. 10 away. Right in the middle. Marsh. Vella. Taylor. Dummies inside. He'll get there. Taylor's in. Parramatta gets number 4. And Jason Taylor is closing in on 2,000. Or has he closed in? 2 away. And 2 away from 2,000.
And you would think he's about 2 minutes away, if that, from achieving it. Doesn't score that many tries, although I think this is about number 6 for the year. Throws a dummy. Again, Ben Kennedy overreading the play, looking to where the pass may have gone, and it wasn't delivered.
Yeah, it's awful defence, but look at Jason Taylor. Someone tell him it's 2001, not 1991. He's turned the clock back 10 years here. Great try, dummy and go. Look at him go, Jason Taylor. Good on you, son.
Paul, I've got to say, so much of that comes from the awful marker defence from the Newcastle side. It is almost non-existent. The 2 rucks leading up to that one, they just got busted up the middle because they are not getting men in that most important position.
Yeah. So this is for 2,000, is it? This is for 2,000 points. Second player only in the history of rugby league. Halligan's in front of him. There he is. He's gone to 2,000. Second player in rugby league Premiership history. Well done, Jason Taylor. The crowd roars at Parramatta. Their newest hero. They stand and applaud. Second highest point scorer ever. Salutes the crowd. Halligan, he's coming down on him. He started this game 45 behind him. Luke Burt. Michael Vella. Marsh. Half-time. 2 minutes out. Marsh. Sullivan. He's a real hombre, this kid. Taylor. He's flattened. I don't think it was late. The crowd are begging for reward. They're looking for something.
The touch is in. Touch is in. There's not much in this. Josh Perry, look, just a little bit late.
Let's listen to what he says.
He's a big fella, Josh Perry. Maybe he couldn't pull out of it. He was going through.
17.
Yeah.
Listen to what touchdown says.
I tend to agree.
Yeah, I don't understand what these touch judges expect of the big men.
Late and high.
Maybe they should try parking the Queen Mary or something.
Late and high. Look at him. He was fair dinkum committed to it.
Just in.
And Jason Taylor straight up. He's not hurt at all. And that's a very harsh penalty. And JT lines up.
I also think if you look at the reaction of the player involved, the man who's getting the penalty is a good sign. Jason Taylor had no concerns with that whatsoever.
Well, not only that, they put him on report. Josh Perry, Newcastle's number 17.
Should be putting the touch judge on report for that. It's disgraceful.
Three from 4 tonight for the newest rugby league player.
Look at him, what a sight. Steaming, sweating, bloodied.
Yeah,
He's a hero here at Parramatta now.
great commentary. Fantastic commentary.
Oh, lovely stuff.
Give yourself a rap. Now Taylor. Bloodied. Steaming. And he hits it. It is there. For another 2. Oh, he inspires you to get up higher, doesn't he? Morton, 24-0. Andrew.
And I'll give you another comment too about Jason Taylor. It's not just natural ability, kicking ability with Jason Taylor. It's a lot of hard work, even during this week. The extra kicking sessions, the extra hours. He must have kicked 1,000 goals in any season, let alone the ones he's kicked on the field. And I thought Brian Smith gave him a very good rap a few weeks ago. He said right at the moment Taylor's playing like he's playing his last game ever. Every week he's playing with just the right intensity for first grade.
24-0. Villa. Oh, what a run! What a run!
Is that half time?
41 metres away. Oh, there's a knock on. Come on, that's not fair. We were enjoying ourselves. 24-0 is half-time. We will go to the break watching this tear-away youngster. One of the Parramatta millionaires. Legs pumping. Why aren't you doing the voiceover on this? You're in the mood. Why don't you do it? Legs pumping like pistons. Where is he when you want him, the fat man? A knock on at the end of it, we are told. And it is half-time. What does Michael Hagan say? Say to them. Stats on the first half. Flow of possession. That's coming up for you.
Thanks to Tui's new, I mentioned for Parramatta efficiency. Well, that's ruthlessly efficient. 24 uses of the football, 21 completions, 15 of those through to the last tackle. Each red column is each set of 6 they have. Only a couple of mistakes. They were early in the game, and they were early in the tackle count. But what a wonderful last 25 minutes here. No wonder we could see the tennis balls there representing tries. Now, for Newcastle, they haven't played that badly, but they've only had 17 uses of the football. 13 times they've completed. This middle section here from about the, I guess, the 25-minute to the 35-minute mark was okay for them. A couple of mistakes there. Again, not too bad, just the 4 errors. I'm sure that they find it hard to believe that they are such a big score behind after only 40 minutes.
And the Mitsubishi match stats, you've only got to look at the bottom line, their possession. 37% for the Knights, 63 for the Eels, to see why the score is 24 points to blot. And the lack of possession, a lot of missed tackles there for the Knights. And I agree with Pete, I don't think they're playing that badly. When they've had the ball, they've looked okay. They just haven't had enough of it.
Sean Hampstead blowing time on for the second stanza. Newcastle this time running towards the southern end. Kalis. He's just looking out of the broadcasting box to my left, and David Moffat has a smile on his face as wide as the Sydney Heads. There's only one wider smile, and that's Dennis Fitzgerald. Beautiful. These two clubs, they really can attract a crowd when they're going so well. Newcastle, of course, people just love going there to Marathon, but Parramatta when they're going well. They haven't seen crowds like this, though, since the middle 80s. Just a fantastic night. Albert. Darren Albert. Tackled eventually 35 metres away from his own line, and there's a problem.
Yeah, high tackle.
Yeah, I know he's falling. You still hit him high. It's coming down to him high. Keep him down, right?
Michael Vella. And he's puzzled by that decision. But a swinging arm got him right around the head. Referee on the spot. And a good kick here. A good start to the Knights in the second half. They're inside the Parramatta half.
Terry's lost it. Sullivan refusing to take the tackle. Marsh going way to the halfway line, almost in the centre of the ground. All the way for Hindmarsh. Nathan not playing tonight. Neither is Hodgson.
News for Parramatta fans. I spoke to Brian Smith before the match and Nathan Hindmarsh. He was keen to play tonight. So his return from that bad back not too far away. As the second man ball to Buettner. Cut out past the wagon. Straightens. Tackled 31 out.
Ryan Taylor. And Taylor is put away on the 30-metre line. Newcastle's end of the ground. 5 tackles gone. As Buettner puts a kick off that left foot. And Luke Burt is after it, but the sideline beats him. So Andrew has been fossicking around the dressing sheds. What have you found out?
Well, Ray, I can give you the key message from both rooms. First of all, from Brian Smith in the Parramatta dressing room, the aim of this second half to keep the Knights scoreless. Prove to ourselves we can concentrate for the full 80 minutes. And from the Knights, it was basically, well, clean slate approach for the second half from coach Michael Hagan. He did make reference to their marker defence needing to lift in this second half. But also, he did say, look, I was really happy with your performance for the first 20 or 25 minutes. So he tried to keep things fairly upbeat. There was also a bit of a brains trust in the Knights dressing room at half-time. Andrew Johns had a fair bit to say, I'm told. And also the Chief Harrigan was there as well, giving his presence there in the room, trying to lift the Newcastle Knights for a strong second half.
Their biggest loss, Andrew, was 42-0 to Auckland back in 1999.
And you go back to midway through the second half last week, they conceded something like 28-4 against the Bulldogs from about the 58th minute last week. This is a tragic run for the club, 52-4 now in the last 68 minutes.
Ray, that result you're talking about, the Auckland 42, Newcastle 0, was the last time the Nova Cassians were kept scoreless. Last time Parramatta kept another team scoreless, the Sharks, June 1999, as Moody will be forced to play this. It's a good chase, but Moody...
Oh, that's wonderful. Now he's got into touch. Well, Jason Moody did well to get back into the field of play, and then I heard the words all in one movement. So he's deemed the tackle to be legitimate. Moody ducks down, happy to submit in the tackle, and then McDougall rolls him over the sideline, and they say all in the one movement. We've got to run with that. Newcastle gets a very good chance. 10 away. Rudder. Met there by Buettner, who he almost beats. Badiris using Peden. Peden, there's the try line. And for Morris. Through for Badiris to turn it inside for Grief, and then outside for Morris. And Parramatta's defence now, with the words of their coach ringing in the ears, let's keep them scoreless. Kennedy. Good tackle by Taylor there. Badiris again, sweeping it wide. Then Rudder, he goes back, picks up Peden. Peden goes back and then angles across before going back to Badiris. Then a kick. And a chase on it, but it's gone in a touch in goal. So Parramatta has repelled whatever challenge Newcastle could offer.
Good defence there by the Eels. The Knights aimed a bit of an attack at Taylor. They handle it. Now Taylor's kicked for touch.
And if he'd have found touch, it would have been Parramatta retaining possession. They've done it a couple of times successfully in the past. They'll be that disappointed. They've got reasonable field position out of it. They tried something, didn't come off exactly the way they wanted it.
Grief. Rudder. And Gidley and Kennedy. Kennedy driven back. Unloads it during his plight and his flight. Bailey. Grief. It's like a mobile block of granite. Rudder. Cover there for Jason Moody. Violecki. Hindmarsh. that solid. You don't want to be on the end of that. Particularly if you're suffering from the night before. It rattles you up a bit. Parramatta with the ball through Ian Hindmarsh. A little bit of a lull in play, and then Marsh puts it out on the full. Would prefer to think that he was trying to kick it more towards the centre of the ground. He's gone for a shot down a very narrow blindside and looking for distance at the same time. Danny Badiris. 24-0 Parramatta. 47 minutes gone. Morris. Now Rudder. Rudder puts the dummy on and then tries to step off the left foot. 9 metres out from the line. Kennedy. Badiris. Danny will make it, will he? No, he's held up. Perry for Kennedy. That is outstanding defence.
Great defence. Michael Vella. He saw Kennedy coming. He charged off the line and smashed him. Good flat pass. Vella saw it. Up and into him. In an attempt to reach out and score a try, Kennedy's lost the football. Would have been a double movement.
For the error count against Newcastle. That was one of the highlights of the game. The purists would love that. The defence of Michael Vella off his own line. Wagon. Ryan. Jason Kalis. Bailey might have been a bit lucky to get away with that. Taylor driving it. Hughes recovering off his own 10. Now the 20. And then he's banged into the turf. Oh, that's hurt him, I think.
I don't think that Mark Hughes has really recovered from that knock that took in the first half. He's moved quite gingerly since then. And that shot from Ian Hindmarsh didn't help matters as McDougall spins in a tackle, takes it 40 out, and there's the New South Wales number 1. Still very shaky.
Bailey. Badiris. This is Morris. Sullivan and Hindmarsh making the tackle on the halfway line. For Kennedy. Kennedy didn't hit the ground, got it away to Grief. Good football by Ben Kennedy. Then Peden. Now Tahu. And Tamana is put away. Just inside the Parramatta 20-metre line on 5 tackles. Badiris. Rudder. Luke Burt. A little bit of cover there from Jason Moody. Violecki. Regan. Crowd lifting. Calling for more. Zella. Wagon. 5th tackle. No change to half-time. Comprehensive Parramatta first half. Albert. Taken by Ryan. Gidley. Hughes. Halfway line. Badiris. McDougall. Taken down by Jamie Lyon over there. Just outside the 30-metre line. Oh, they've lost the ball. Newcastle unable to build pressure. We will take a break. 24-0. Back in a moment. Lights. And the scrum worked by Parramatta. Just outside their own 30-metre line. Buchner. Violecki playing fullback tonight. And a penalty to Parramatta against the front rower, Glenn Grief, hanging onto the leg. As he rises, he takes, well, did he take the leg with him? 3-3 the penalties. As Ryan is tackled just inside the 20-metre line. PJ Marsh. Straight ahead for Nathan Kalis. Marsh, blindside. Solomona. Taken down by Rudder in the lane. Marsh. Then Ryan. Now Kalis. Then Taylor. Long ball finding Hindmarsh. They're 15 from the line. Looking very much as though they're going to be the team that'll score next. Ryan. Tackle number 5, and Taylor wants the ball open side. Taylor. Bombing. Wagon will get a jump on it. So will Albert. There's a chance on for Parramatta. That is a try for Luke Burt. That is his 3rd try. Luke Burt has got a treble, I think.
And he's delighted, and rightly so. The kick goes across. We freeze it there. Just have a look at this man, Matt Gidley. What he does to the chaser out here as play continues. I don't think Matt Gidley goes and helps Darren Albert in any shape or form, really. Albert flies high. No urgency for the Newcastle players. The man leading in the urgency stakes is Luke Burt, and that's why he's got a triple next to his name.
They've done so well tonight, Parramatta. Brian Smith wanted them to keep the Knights scoreless. Down the other end of the field, the Knights had 4 or 5 sets of 6 down in the Parramatta quarter. They couldn't score a try, and about the first time in their second half, the Eels down in the Knights' danger territory, they come up with a 4-pointer to another pinpoint bomb from Jason Taylor. What a night he's had.
And Luke Burt very happy with the contribution from David Solomona. He was the man contesting the football with Albert, put the pressure on, and Taylor about to extend the lead. 84%. Incredible kicking record.
Taylor converting. 30 points to nothing. Luke Burt applauding Jason Taylor. 3-try hero tonight, Luke Burt. Andrew.
Oh, Ray, isn't it turning into be a great comeback story for Luke Burt this year? This is only his 4th game back, his 5th try for the year now with that hat-trick tonight. He said a few weeks back it was a turning point, that game we saw down at Toyota Park against the Sharks. He said it was the day when I suddenly got my confidence back. I've been back a couple of weeks in First Division, the second game back in first grade. He looks every bit the first grader again now.
Andrew, I really think that the weight difference has made a marked improvement in his game as well. I read somewhere that he's put on something like 7 or 8 kilos since coming into the top grade. He looks more confident with that bulk.
Sterlo, it's even more than that. In fact, when he made his debut at Stadium Australia a couple of years ago, he was only 71 kilos. He now tips the scales at 83. So you're right, it's a significant boost, a more confident, a more imposing player.
That scoreline, incidentally, replicates Parramatta's as Glenn Grief going up the tunnel. That scoreline is 30-0 in favour of Parramatta. Here's Parramatta again with Violecki. Parramatta's record win over Newcastle was 30-0 in 1991. It's their biggest win over the Knights. Butner. They've got staff out here. There's plenty of personnel. Flick pass. And Moody eventually got a kick on it, I fancy, but McDougall is tackled.
Ooh, heavy defensive gain on Mark Hughes. He must have a target on him.
This was Solomona and Wagon. They really shouldered up, didn't they, in that passage down the left side. Gudeiras. I remember Warren Ryan used to coach Canterbury many years ago in that manner. They had this little short passing game between forwards, and they try and hit you down the blind side. They'd shoulder up against you. Burt. Marsh. Memorable night, this one, for Parramatta supporters, obviously. Jamie Lyon kicks. Here's Donald. Donald is flying. I think he's done it. Well, McDougall, what's happened to him?
Well, it was a great kick again from the centre, Jamie Lyon. We've seen him do this on a couple of occasions this year. We're going to have a look at the grounding, whether Scott Donald, who I can't even remember him touching the football before this, to be quite honest, comes through. Oh, no problem whatsoever. And he seemed to get there very quickly, and the Newcastle players seemed to be in slow motion.
They're having a picnic now, the Eels. All the skills they've got, they're all on show. And the crowd here are loving it at Parramatta Stadium. No doubt it'll be a green light. Everyone's on side. He got it down correctly. Beautiful play from the outside backs. The Newcastle defence is ordinary out wide. They're sprinting up. Some are coming up, some are staying back. Look at that for a line. That's disgraceful out wide. Lovely kick from Lyon. And the duck. The duck gets one. Good on you, Donald.
Yeah, well, I zeroed in on Adam McDougall. But really, his turn and chase didn't have a lot of enthusiasm about it. Probably I should have been saying where was the fullback, but I thought McDougall was entitled to turn and chase more keenly than he did.
Ray, and that's the big problem for Newcastle. Like, if they think with Andrew John's return everything is going to be okay and he's the miracle cure, they are in for a rude shock. Their body language in the last couple of matches is not indicative of the side playing with confidence, with enthusiasm, and Johns is not the answer to all of their problems.
Taylor, it's offline. 34 points to nil the score. Donald. How long had he been on the park? Did we know officially? It's almost impossible to watch everything in rugby league these days. Kalis. Came on at the 56th minute. Gidley. Peden. Brad Drew about to come back. And Taylor is the man they've brought off.
An amazing game, rugby league, isn't it, with Jason Taylor? It's a wide round of applause. Like Michael Hagan, he would have been sitting as pretty as anybody a month ago. I think they're undefeated in about 8 matches in a row. Things going on beautifully on top of the competition ladder. And what a difference a month has made to the Newcastle Knights.
Donaldson for Rudder. And he kicks across for Albert. And the bat down has been taken by Parramatta. They turn defence into attack. And then it goes over the sideline with Darren Albert making the tackle on Jason Moody.
Yeah, no advantage there. Knock on by Darren Albert has been played. And it'll be a 20-metre tap for the Eels. Good effort by Albert to get up there and make the tackle, because Moody could have run 100 metres then and scored a try. Speaking of Newcastle, I know they get next weekend off, of course, with State of Origin. We can't wait for that. You'll see it on Sunday night from 7:30 p.m. There it is there, the decider at ANZ Stadium. But after that, the Knights have got Brisbane and then Melbourne. Admittedly, both at Marathon, that'll help them a little bit, but gee, it's a tough stretch coming up for them.
I think the master is back, is he not, for the Brisbane game, though?
Yes.
Buettner. Hughes. Just about without exception, every time he's taken the ball up tonight, he's been battered. Parsons is back. Sunday night, we'll show you at 4 o'clock, that is, we'll show you the Northern Eagles up against the Bulldogs at North Power. McDougall reeling in, reeling out, and then tackled eventually. Donaldson. Buderas kicking for Hughes. Hughes. Referee said play on. I thought for a moment he might have been taken out of it, but it's with Moody now.
He was held out of it, Mark Hughes, by Nathan Kalis. This was in trailing back on the inside, and he gets bumped out of it and then held out of it.
$34-0. 6 tries to Parramatta. On a night when Jason Taylor has gone past the 2,000 points. Second player only to do that, and he is now not too far away from being the highest point scorer ever. 9 changes Parramatta, 10 Newcastle. As Marsh puts a kick in that finds the line 10 metres away from the Newcastle goal line. The scary thing is there's 17 minutes to go. The bench, including Taylor.
And 3 of their best tonight. Got Jason Taylor there, Andrew Ryan, who's just been superb, and Michael Vella. Another great game from him. He wasn't far behind Nathan Kalis in last week's win over Brisbane.
23,097 here at a stadium that really looks as though it's unable to take any more. I'm sure it would. Donaldson. Simpson. Parsons. Parramatta's ball.
Thought he was offside.
Wagon's lost it.
Actually came forward off Brad Drew, and he was offside, being the Wagon.
Buderas, Rudder, Tahu. Peden. He's been very strong down that right side defence tonight, young Lion. He mightn't have got a lot of raps in the attacking department, but his defence down there has been very solid.
Well, I was really looking forward to his battle with Tamana Tahu tonight, but it's been pretty much one-way traffic. I saw him with Chris Walker last week. Tremendous duel. This one just hasn't evolved tonight as Simpson tackled centre field, 15 out. Can the Knights put something on the board?
Donaldson has a show. Now the 5th, Hughes. Buderas, stabbing little kick. Came off Solomona, came off. Well, it came off everybody. And Sean Hampstead saying to David Violecki, don't worry about it. Bring it back here. Take your pick. Pick of the store. 14 to go. And 34-0. The Eels over the Knights. It's Danny Buderas. Oh, no. Fortunately, it's play on. Peden. Parsons. Buderas. Donaldson. Gee, their defence has been just so rock solid on their own line. Now Peden. And they've come up with it again. Well, they might have crossed the line 6 times to score. But really, I think Brian Smith will talk about a couple of things that have happened down this end of the ground. Remember the Vela tackle earlier tonight. And then they really have muscled up again here.
Ray, I think the 15-minute period in the second half against Brisbane last week confirmed in Brian Smith's mind that he has a premiership chance this year with this Parramatta side. It wasn't just the kind of defence that wins competition matches, it wins premierships. As Wagon nearly put through a beautiful pass. And they backed it up again tonight for 67 minutes, keeping their line intact. Drew kicks for himself, regathers, kicks again.
Now the chase is on. Darren Albert and Andrew Ryan. And Albert will play the ball just into the field of play. McDougall taken down by Nathan Kalis in the main. Rudder. Clint Newton is on again in 15, and here's a penalty.
Daniel Wagon lying on far too long there, and he's got number 13 on his back, but he's played the game in the centres. And once again, Brian Smith, he's named a side, he's gambled with a few changes, and they've come up trumps. And Lecky's been great at fullback. Jason Moody's drifted between fullback and wing. We've got Wagon back in the centres.
We should point out, though, with all these changes, that they're not sudden changes. The Parramatta side know where each individual is playing from the beginning of the week. Brian Smith has always said it's ridiculous having to name a side on Tuesday night because you just don't know who you're going to have available. These changes, they're only to the program. The side has definitely trained in these positions all week in preparation for this one. As Mark Hughes inside the 20, 4th tackle gone.
Rudder then. Oh, losing it. We'll take it. No, we won't. I was about to say we'll take a break with Parramatta. They've come up with the advantage. Kalis. Solomona. He had some plans for something bigger than what eventuated, and they really sandwiched Solomona, and I think they hurt him. Marsh. Kick has turned Albert around. Albert coming off his own line. And now for Mark Hughes. Drew and Ryan leading the chase. Albert. Newcastle's Perry about to come back. Tahu. Donaldson. Medeiros and the win forward. We'll take a break and come back to you in just a moment. Parramatta over Newcastle. And on the other side of the break. Parramatta with Wagon. Just outside the 30-metre line. Here's Ryan. Jason Kalis.
Forwards out wide, Parramatta, Kalis and Ian Hindmarsh to the right. They go to Kalis. Ball broke down. on there. Newcastle come up with the football through Ben Kennedy.
And he's one Newcastle player deserves the rap tonight, Ben Kennedy. My word, he's tried hard. Tried hard, as has Big Matty Parsons, the time that he's been on there. And for Parramatta, a great tackling performance from Ian Hindmarsh. 35 tackles by him tonight, leading the way quite easily. Next best to him is Michael Buechner with 22 at 5'8".
There's Gidley. 32 metres out from the line. Andrew.
Yeah, it's just an observation as we sing the praises of the Parramatta side, but a few things you can pick up from the sideline. Look, it's not just ability with the Parramatta side, it's their attention to detail with a few little things. Some of the young players tonight, Jason Kalis, there was an instance when he came on the field for Mick Vella. He sprinted on from the sideline to be involved in the very same play that he's coming on for. Denny Sullivan, when he comes on the defensive line, as Newcastle make another error. He's no hesitant teenager. He's out there talking and communicating with his teammates in defence. It's just attention to detail. It's something that, you know, most of the sides in the competition, I've got to say, that they're coming up against week in, week out, just don't have. I saw a match last week, the Cowboys and the Roosters. The intensity just wasn't there. It's been there for the entire, 74 minutes so far for the Eels.
Game restarted with that 10-metre scrum, and Parramatta's Moody. He's just running through that calendar for you. Sunday, we've got the Northern Eagles up against the Bulldogs. There's a knock on there. That's at 4 o'clock. For Sydney viewers, check your local guides and other centres. And then, of course, as Paul pointed out, on Sunday week, it's State of Origin 3, The Decider. Live at 7:30 from Brisbane's ANZ. That will be, I'm sure, a heart-stopper in front of a massive crowd. Newcastle's McDougall. Simpson. Perry. He'll be hard to stop. But stop him they did. Donaldson. Rudder. With a juggling run. Can they hold him again? From Peden, it's away for Badiris. Inside ball. And it's gone from Newton through Kennedy. Kennedy to Peden. And the crowd already applauding. Maybe that's premature. Perry thrusting it back. And Drew dives on it for Parramatta, so they've done it again. 34-0, and they've still got, as Sullivan comes on, they've still got this enthusiasm to hold their opponents scoreless.
And that is definitely the thing that will please Brian Smith the most. I remember a couple of weeks back, a big victory for Parramatta over Penrith, where he was far from pleased because of the amount of points they conceded, despite the fact they'd racked up plenty themselves. And you can be sure that he's happy with the 34. He's absolutely ecstatic with the 0.
Marsh's kick. Well placed. Hughes. Gidley.
Saving grace for Newcastle right at the moment. After that golden run, they got themselves into a good position on the competition ladder. There is a 5-point break to the next teams. That's Melbourne, the Sharks and the Eagles. That will evaporate fairly quickly if they can't turn this around. As Paul pointed out, they do have Brisbane and Melbourne coming up. They're in a good position on the ladder now. They've really got to make sure they stay there in the coming weeks.
Yeah, the worst will end up after this round is 5th. They can hang in there for a couple of weeks, but here's an intercept, and Jamie Lyon will streak away. He'll run 60 metres and put it under the sticks.
Well, don't stop there.
There he goes, beautiful dive. Well done, Jamie Lyon. Jason Taylor goes up. The boys, Jason Kalis, they're loving it.
What about you? You've got us all excited, and then you've done nothing.
Waiting for the professional to come in.
His wife has said that a fair bit in the past, Ray, but tonight, the Eels finish off in fitting style. And really, Jamie Lyon didn't have much to do here. Ben Kennedy almost threw it straight to him. And then the young centre outpaced Steve Simpson to run the 60 metres. And it is a red-letter night for the Eels in front of a bumper home crowd here. Over 23,000 fans. And you can be sure on this performance, there'll be plenty more backing up for their next home game.
And this kid here's not far off representative honours. I know it's his first full year of first grade, but my word, he is a dead-set talent. Great player to watch. And look at the exuberance on his face.
The kid from Cotton Country. The boy from Weewolf. Nice give up you, Sterling, by the way. I didn't miss that.
Yeah, I apologise for that.
So you should. Delving into the private life of the Vorton.
He did make me walk on fire last night. I had to get square.
Luke Burt taking over the goal kicking. This for 40. It's a record win by Parramatta over Newcastle. 40-0. Andrew.
Oh, it's been a rough couple of weeks for the Newcastle Knights on the scoreboard, and the night of Mark Hughes sort of sums it all up when we look at some of the hammering he's copped tonight, not just from the Parramatta players but from the post. I think Sterlo wrapped it up nicely in the first half when he said Hughes must have a target on him tonight because he has been punished, and his effort alone sort of reflects the whole fortnight for Newcastle. I'll repeat that stat. They conceded 28 points in the last 28 minutes against the Bulldogs, and tonight 40 points, unanswered points against the Eels.
Newcastle 2 points away from setting their own record of their biggest loss. 42-0 they got beaten, as I pointed out earlier, in 1999 at the hands of Auckland. They're 2 points away from that tonight. Parramatta will register 11 games on the trot, unbeaten.
Any idea what their record is, Ray, as far as unbeaten games in a row?
Parramatta?
Yeah, because they're heading that way. 12.
12,
12, I think, if I remember it correctly, it's 12.
The guru is mouthing something. I'm thinking that he's saying 12.
He said 12. David Middleton misses nothing.
Either that or he's out of breath. They've lost one game at Parramatta this year. It was in round 2. That record's going to be kept intact with this domination. This comprehensive win. And as Peter said, it might have been done against Newcastle without Andrew Johns, but even the great one will not heal totally what is going wrong with Newcastle. They have now lost their last 4 games. This crowd rises. Parramatta have won 40 points to nothing. Taylor has gone past 2,000, second player only ever to do that in front of a crowd that really must have the rugby league people very, very happy. 40-0. Parramatta wins. 2 of the great crowd pullers doing battle at one of the great rugby league stadiums, and it has attracted a crowd of just over 23,000 tonight. The Army are in full voice. They have got their sights set on Stadium Australia for the last Sunday night in September. They don't know about the red, white and blues from Newcastle, not on what we're seeing at the moment. Well, what a couple of great weekends it's been for Parramatta. Brisbane, now Newcastle. Then they play the Warriors away, Canberra at home, Melbourne away, and still the flags are waving. Maybe they're ushering in the start of another wonderful blue and gold era. They're young, they're talented, they're well coached, and they don't need one player. They're not a club that really bases their dominance on one player. They're not an Andrew Johns club. They're not a Darren Lockyer club, a Gordon Tallis club. They're not a Brad Fittler club. They share it round. Great great night of excitement for the blue and gold. We'll come back. Peter's been smiling right through this one, although I do know he has a soft spot for Newcastle. We'll take a break. We'll come back to him to wrap it up, and Andrew will have the McDonald's $1,000 man of the match for you. And remember, the stars of rugby league will be at the McDonald's outlets tomorrow. It is McHappy Day in aid of Variety and Ronald McDonald House. Here's a break, and then we'll...
40 over the Newcastle Knights, 0. 7 tries for the victors, with Luke Burke grabbing a treble. Ryan, Taylor, Donald and Lyon all crossed. Jason Taylor 5 from 7. Burt kicked 1 from 1. Now, Parramatta in recent weeks have made it very difficult to pick a man of the match. So many players in outstanding form. The man we opted for this evening is with Andrew Voss.
Peter, the $1,000 McDonald's man of the match. An outstanding performance from the Maltese warrior, the number 10 for the Eels, Michael Vella. Great performance from the team. I understand that Brian Smith at half-time, the goal was no points in the second half, and you've done that.
Yeah, we're very enthusiastic all through the game. Full credit to the whole 17. We had no points put on us. We performed well in the last 2 weeks, and hopefully we can keep it up.
Michael, can I pinpoint a few incidents from your own game from that match? Just right on half-time, a break straight from a kick-off. Did you know the hooter had sounded?
No, I couldn't really hear it. The boys were giving it to me a bit at half-time, but I was probably more in shock that I made a break than anything.
And then one tackle right on your own line on Ben Kennedy, where you rushed up, got a real good shot on him.
Yeah, well, if Ben Kennedy, he was opposite one of our small blokes, and if he don't get off the line, he probably would have scored. So it's just enthusiasm from the whole team, which helped us.
Your form over the last month in particular, your own form has been just terrific. Is it any coincidence that's come with you settled your future, the signing of a long-term contract with the Eels?
Yeah, it is. I think it's a combination of things, playing in the side that everybody's happy, probably knowing where my future is, and just general fitness has picked up a lot in the last couple of weeks.
All right, great effort tonight from you and the team, and $1,000 for you from McDonald's to make your day.
Thank you, McDonald's, and I'd like to say happy birthday to my cousin Johnny tomorrow. Sorry, can't make your party, but have a good one.
He's going well, Michael Vella. Got our award tonight in front of Andrew Ryan and Jason Taylor. And speaking of Jason, another milestone for him this evening, and he too is with Andrew.
Well, Jason Taylor, I don't know about 2,000 points, but you finished the match looking like you've gone 2,000 matches.
Yeah, I'll look back at this game and be happy I scored 2,000, but I won't be wanting to look at my head too often on the camera. It's not looking too good, I'm sure.
Well, another great milestone, the 2,000 points. It was almost a nice touch that it came up via a try and a goal.
Yeah, it was nice. I've said before that I suppose the single kick itself, I wasn't going to care too much about where it was from. I was just happy to get there, and it's all the kicks leading up to it, and I suppose a few tries here and there, but it was nice to get across the line before kicking the goal.
Well, it's like a cricketer hitting a 6 to get to his 100. I mean, you've got the 4 and the 2. On one kick, though, your first kick of the night, you started our opener tonight on Channel 9, and then you get a relatively easy kick for Jason Taylor. What were you thinking?
I honestly did think to myself on the first kick after the opener. I haven't seen it, but I know what went on there, and I thought, well, I better not miss this kick after the opener, and sure enough, didn't miss by much, but it missed. I should have lined it up from the floor of the Leagues Club.
Well, fantastic effort, Jason. 2,000 points, and now for Halligan's record.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks, Andrew.
In fact, 2004 career points for JT, 14 of those coming in this match. Now, plenty to look forward to over the next week, starting on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock with the Sunday Footy Show. You'll hear from Craig Smith, Matt Adamson, Jason Hetherington, and a special feature on the Roosters, Luke Ricketson. That afternoon, North Power Stadium in Gosford is the venue for the Northern Eagles at home to the Bulldogs. That's from 4 o'clock. And that night, you'll see our coverage of the European Formula One Grand Prix, as usual, hosted by Alan Jones and Daryl Eastlake. That's from 11:40 p.m. Following day, the championships from Wimbledon begin, our coverage commencing at 10:20 p.m. And then on Thursday night, live from the Brisbane Convention Centre, it is Footy Show night. Our special guest host, Queensland legend Mal Meninga. We'll also have Steve Irwin along. He's almost a Queensland legend. That's from 9:30. And 3 days later, the big game from ANZ Stadium, the decider between Queensland and New South Wales. You will see State of Origin number 3 live and exclusive here on Channel 9. Should be an absolute ripper. But Parramatta done it in style tonight. They retained the NRL competition lead after 17 rounds. Have done it in emphatic style. Thanks for your company. We'll do it again soon. Until then, it is bye for now.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.